All right, ladies and gentlemen, today, our goal of the day, given an equation with algebraic fractions, you will be able to solve for the value of x. So, ladies and gentlemen, today is the day that you're all going to enjoy because today we are actually solving equations that have equal signs in them. So everybody's favorite thing, solve for the value of x. So let's go ahead and take a look. So we are still working with fractions. So our motto is I will conquer fractions. All right, so let's take a look at our different equations for today. So here are your steps for solving fractional equations. We need to find the least common multiple of all the fractions. We're going to multiply everything by that least common multiple, and then we're going to solve the resulting equation. So what we're going to try to do is just completely get rid of the fractions. Okay, so let's take a look. 5, 3, and 15. So we want to get rid of the fractions. So to get rid of them, we need to find a common multiple between 5, 3, and 15. So let's see. What do all these numbers have in common? What will they all go into? Well, they're all going to go into 15. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this entire equation and we're going to multiply it by 15. So I'm going to take 15 and I'm going to multiply it to here. I'm going to take 15 and I'm going to multiply it to the second term. And I'm going to take 15 and I'm going to divide it to the last term. Okay, so here's what we're going to do then. Because we have a fraction, let's see if we can reduce. So 15 over 5. Does 5 go into 15? Yes, it does. It goes in 3 times. So we have just gotten rid of the fraction, and what are we left with? 3x. Now, if we take a look at the next one, we have a 15 on the top. We have a 3 in the bottom. So 3 goes into 15 5 times. So now we're left with plus 5x. Here we have an equal sign, and then we have a 15 over 15. So those are just going to cancel, and we're left with 8. And look at that. Magically, those fractions are just gone. And now we get to solve this regularly. So let's take a look. So just solve this equation. 3x plus 5x is 8x equals 8. And then we divide everything by 8. So then x is equal to 1. And now we have our final answer. Oops, there we go. X equals 1. All right, let's try this again. So let's go over to number 2. Now we have a fraction plus a fraction equals a whole number. So I'm going to take that whole number and put it over 1. All right, now this would be much easier to solve if there were no fractions. So let's think. If we want to get rid of these fractions, we need to think of a number that both 7, 3, and 1 will all go into. And what will they all go into? They will all go into 21. So we're going to take this entire equation and we're going to multiply it by 21. So that means I'm going to take 21 and I'm going to multiply it to the first term. I'm going to take 21 and I'm going to multiply it to the second term. And I'm going to take 21 and I'm going to multiply it to the last term. All right, so let's see what happens now. So I have a 21 over 7. I know 7 goes into 21 3 times, so that leaves me with 3x. Plus 3 goes into 21 7 times, so that leaves me with 7x. Is equal to, now 1, that's not going to reduce anything, so all we have to do here is 21 times 21. All right, my math facts don't go that high, so let's just take a look here. And 21 times 21, 441. Oh, I knew that. All right, so now we've gotten rid of our fractions, which is lovely. So now all we have to do is solve. So let's go ahead and take a look here. So 3x plus 7x gives me a grand total of 10x equals 441. I'm going to divide both sides by 10. And x is equal to, when you divide by 10, you move the decimal over 1, so 44.1. And that is a rational decimal because it does terminate. And we've got it. All right, so let's move on to number 3. So if we take a look at number 3 here, we have a fraction equals a whole number, so I'm going to put that over 1. Now this would be much easier if there were no fractions. So let's think. So here's my think bubble. Let's think. 5, 3, and 1. What's a number that 5, 3, and 1 will all go into? All right, let's try 15. So we're going to multiply everything here by 15. So we're going to take 15, we're going to multiply it to the first term, but that's a binomial, so I'm going to put it in parentheses and put a 15 in the front. Then I'm going to take 15, I'm going to multiply it to the second term. Again, that's a binomial, so I'm going to put it in parentheses and put a 15 in front. And then I'm going to take a 15 and I'm going to multiply it to the last term. All right, so let's see if we can get rid of these fractions now. So I have a 15 in the top and a 5 in the bottom. So those cancel and I'm left with a 3. So now I have 3 parentheses, 2x minus 3. All right, minus. Now I have a 3 in the bottom, a 15 in the top. So 3 goes into 15 5 times. So I'm left with 5x plus 3 equals, now a 1 will not cancel anything, so we just have 2 times 15, which gives us 30. Okay, and now we can go ahead and solve this regularly. All right, so we're going to have to distribute the 3, and then we're going to have to distribute the negative 5 into the parentheses, so that's going to give us 6x minus 9 minus 5x, negative 5 times positive 3, negative 15, equals 30. Go ahead, pause the video, and solve for x. All right, let's see how you did. Were you able to follow through and end up with x equals 54? All right, so let's go ahead now and let's take a look at number 4. So here we have a fraction plus a fraction equals a whole number. I'm going to put that 9 over 1. So this would be a lot easier if there were no fractions. So let's think. What could we multiply everything by to get rid of those fractions? How about x? So let's take everything and multiply it by x. So x goes to the first one, x goes to the second one, and x goes and multiplies to the last one. So let's see what happens here. We have an x on the top, x on the bottom. Those are just going to cancel, 10. X on the top, x on the bottom, those are going to cancel, and we're going to get left with 8. Equals, now there's 1 on the bottom, nothing cancels, so we get just 9x. Now we can solve this. So 10 plus 8 is 18, equals 9x. Divide both sides by 9, and 2 is equal to x, and we've solved. All right, let's flip over and try just a few more. So let's take a look here, and number 5. This one looks a little bit different, but let's see. We have a fraction minus, let's take the whole number, let's make it a fraction, equals a fraction. So this would be much easier if we had no fractions. So let's see, can we find the least common multiple? What is a number that 4, 1, and 12 will all go into? That's right, they will all go into 12. So we're going to take everything here and multiply it by 12. Okay, so we're going to take 12, we're going to multiply it to the first fraction. We're going to take 12, we're going to multiply it to the second, and then take 12 and we're going to multiply it to the last. So let's see. Can this help us get rid of the fractions? Well, 4 goes into 12 3 times. So we have 3x times 3, which gives us a total of 9x. Minus, now nothing is going to cancel there, which is okay. So that means all we're going to do then is 6 times 12, and we get 72. Equals, now here we have a 12 in the denominator, a 12 in the numerator, so those will completely cancel, and we get just x. So now go ahead, pause the video, solve for x. All right, let's see. Were you able to get x equals 9? You've got it. All right, so everybody take a look now at number 6. So we have a fraction with a denominator of 2, a denominator of 3, and a denominator of 1. So I'd like you to think, what is my least common multiple? What should we multiply everything by to get rid of those fractions? Go ahead and solve that problem. All right, all you're going to plug into the computer is what is that least common multiple? What are you going to multiply everything by? All right, let's check it out. Did you come up with 6? So we're going to take this entire equation and we're going to multiply everything by 6. Now these are already binomials, so we have to put them in parentheses. So 6 times the first one. Then you're going to multiply the second fraction by 6 and multiply the third fraction also by 6. So let's take a look then. So 2 goes into 6 3 times. So we're left with 3x plus 1. Plus, now 3 goes into 6 2 times. So we get 2x minus 3. Equals, now 1 is not going to cancel, so this is just 10 times 6, which gives you 60. Go ahead now and solve for x.
Is it okay if I don't write it?
All right, let's see, were you able to get x equals 9, and you got it. All right, so we're going to go ahead. I'm going to have you skip number 7 because what I'd like everyone to do now is try question number 8 on your own. So I'll go ahead. I will give you started though. So if we take a look, we put the 2 over 1. So what are you going to multiply everything by? So let's think 5, 3, and 1. Let's go ahead and try 15. All right, so with that, go ahead, solve for x. All right, let's see, were you able to end up with x equals 24? All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll practice this more tomorrow in class, but great job tonight.